see the next part from the 6th Science 3rd chapter, Fiber to Fabric. In previous sessions we have seen the animal fibers. In the animal fibers we have seen about the wool, how we are getting wool. Now we have to see how we are getting the silk. Silk, you are aware that silk we are getting from the silk worms. Silk we are getting from the silk moths. Now in this discussion we will see the whole life history of the silk moth also. Before whenever we are wearing this silk worm. Now in this discussion we will see the whole life history of the silk moth also. Before whenever we are wearing this silk worms, for obtaining the silk, it is called as a sericulture. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called sericulture. Now we will see life history of the silk moth. In the life, when we are going to discuss the life history of the silk moth, see the silk moth, the female silk moth lays 100 of the eggs on the leaves. The female silk moth lays eggs on which hatch the larvae, which are called caterpillars or the silkworms. They grow in the size, and when the caterpillar is ready to enter the next stage of its life history, called as the pupa, it is the first weaves a net to hold itself in the form of the figure of 8, and during this movement of the head, the caterpillar secretes the fiber made of a protein which harden on exposure to the air and becomes silk fibers. Soon, the caterpillar completely covers itself by the silk fiber and turns into the pupa. This covering is known as the cocoons. The further development of the pupa into the moth continues inside the cocoons. Silk fibers are used for weaving the silk clothes. These silk fibers are used for weaving the different kinds of clothes. You are aware, your mother is wearing silk sarees, and silk sarees are very famous. There are also natural silk is also there and artificial silk is also there. Artificial silk means what? The silk which made in the factories, and natural fibers means naturally from the silk moths the fiber is obtained which is silk. So with the help of such silk, if the clothes are woven, so then they are the natural one. Now see, these silk fibers are very strong. If we compare it with the steel thread, so it is very strong than the steel. So as the yarn of this silk, yarn means what? The threads, they are having the different varieties as smooth one, coarse one, soft one. Okay, so like this they are having the different kind of varieties because there are the different kind of the silk moths are there. Maybe you have heard the Tassar silk was there, or the Munga silk was there. Silk, Munga silk, Kosa silk, and etc. are the different kinds of silk. They are spun with the different kinds of the different silk moths. Most common silk is the mulberry silk, which is very common. The most common silk moth is the mulberry silk moth, which is a very common. The silk fibers obtained from this silk moth, they are very soft, lustrous, and we can dye it in a different color. As you are aware, we can dye it with a different color. So the beautiful saris or the beautiful clothes we are able to wear. Culture or the culture of the silk moth is a very old occupation of the India. In India, the plenty of actually the silk is produced, means it is produced on a commercial base in India. We are getting a very good economy from this sericulture. As here we have discussed that mulberry silk is very soft, very elastic and very stretchable. So it is having a very strength. Okay. So these such kind of silks are very so such kinds of silk is very famous in all over the world. Now we will see how we are getting silk from the cocoon. Just see, from the cocoon to get silk, these moths are reared and the cocoons are collected to get the silk threads. Okay, now we will see how we are doing this process. So first we will see rearing silk worms. Okay, the rearing silk worms. To rear the silkworms, the female silk moths are laying actually the 100 of the eggs on the mulberry leaves. These eggs are actually stored very carefully on the cloth or the paper strips. The farmers which are collecting those, they are taking very care of these eggs. They are providing the right temperature, right humidity by which they will rear healthy by which they will rear fast. Now see what happens when these eggs are reared under very suitable condition of the temperature and humidity. These eggs are kept warm. These eggs are warmed by which these eggs actually warmed to the suitable temperature, and the farmers keep eggs under hygienic conditions and under suitable conditions of temperature and humidity. These eggs are warmed to a suitable temperature for the larvae to hatch from eggs. This is done when the mulberry trees bear the fresh crop of leaves. The larvae, called as the caterpillars or the silkworms, they eat day and night and increase enormously in size. The larvae are kept in clean bamboo trays along with the fleshy chopped mulberry leaves. After 25 to 30 days, now this caterpillar stops eating and moves in a tiny chamber of a bamboo in the tray to spin cocoons. Small rats or twins may be provided in the tray which cocoons get attached. The caterpillars or the silkworms spins the cocoon inside which develops the silk moth. Now we will see processing silk. A pill of cocoon is used for obtaining silk fiber. The cocoon are kept under the sun or boiled or exposed to steam. The silk fibers separate out. The process of taking out the thread from the cocoons for use as silk is called reeling the silk. Reeling is done in a special machine which unwind the threads or fibers of silk from the cocoon. Silk fibers are then spun into silk threads which are woven into silk cloth by the weavers. And in this way we have seen how we are getting silk from the silk worms. In this chapter we actually studied the two important in this chapter we studied the two important animal fibers, the wool and